Hey everyone, over at the other pool down south we have some special considerations. Primarily, not having as much time to clean the pool and vacuum the bottom. While not much of a problem as this pool is inside a screen enclosure as opposed to the one up north, debris still gets in there. Another consideration that I have is not only how often I'm able to clean the debris inside the pool, but how often I could attend to the filter and the associated parts. For this and for other reasons I'm about to get into, I've selected a specific pool robot for this pool. Let's talk about it. What I've chosen after my research is this Proteus DX4 from Maytronics. Having picked it up on Amazon for about $900, I paid for it out of my own pocket, so you can be sure this won't be a paid, biased review for the company. With that said, do me a favor and hit that like button down below and leave a comment because it really helps with the algorithm. That's all I ask. I'll tell you why I chose it based on other people's reviews and my research. 1, it is much lighter than the other one that I own considering the person who's going to have to pull it out of the pool. 2, very simple settings. There's a power button and how many times a week it's going to run button, and that's it. 3, unlike my other robot cleaner, this one is designed to be left in the pool. And 4, they have an option for this one that actually has filter elements that you'd find in your pool filter to run in this robot to further clean the water. And the robot I'm comparing it against through this video is the Polaris 965 IQ, which is the only other pool robot that I own. A link for this video is found in the top right corner. Let's unbox. A booklet with all the literature, the control unit, and finally the robot vacuum. Wow, look at all that pollen. Here's a thanks for your money / registration card, the quick start guide, important safety instructions, an urgent please read before using, we'll put that out front, 24-month warranty, some frequently asked questions. Yeah, that's it for the documentation. Let's move on to the machine. So here's some important information that you have to do with the device before you use it. They put it on a separate card because it's real important. And then we see an asterisk on the bottom, not applicable to all models, and on this model, it is not applicable. It comes with a 50-foot cable. We'll put that off to the side so we could have a look inside the machine. Lifting the cover causes a spring-loaded handle on the filter to automatically come up. I guess you don't have to reach down that far, so that's nice. We'll remove the filter now and have a quick look. This piece separated during shipping, and that's just fine. We get a close look at it, and it's just the fine mesh filter. They're good. But there's like separate filter pieces. I think this box has got too many parts that can leak. It picks up from the bottom. I don't know how it's going to work. We're going to find out. We're going to get our new filters on there, which are the really fine ones. But then I realized I ordered the wrong ones, so we'll be doing that later in the video. I'll place the filter back into the robot, and we can see as we close the cover, the handle automatically compresses. I will point out there is no gasket on the top here. It's just plastic on plastic. Will it leak? We'll find out. Here's the control unit. It's an inline unit, real simple. This side's got the power plug going to the mains, and this side has a waterproof cover that goes to a connector that goes to the robot's cable. Very simple. These controllers are one size fits all, so we'll be using the power button right here, as well as this button right here that sets 1, 2, or 3 cycles. We won't be using this button. We won't be using this button, nor the Bluetooth or the wireless. This button here will be cycled to set it to run once, twice, or 3 times a week. Depending on how many times you hit that button, a light will illuminate, letting you know what it's set for. The connector for the robot is keyed, so it only goes in one direction, and then it is tightened down to full seat. I'll remove the twist tie from the power plug, and then very carefully remove the tape from around the cable as to not cut the cable, because that would be terrible. This is an anti-tangle device allowing the cable to spin independently from the other half of the cable. We'll see how well it works. Placing the robot by the side of the pool, I'll uncurl the cable in a way that it won't be completely tangled. A lot of times that means walking it out or twisting it once every time you uncurl it. There must be enough cable uncurled and in the water for the robot to reach the end of the pool. I'm temporarily setting the controller up on a high chair for this test and plugging the other side into the wall in a socket that's rated for outdoor weather. Now I gently drop the robot into the pool and let it sink to the bottom. Enough untangled cable and sunk to the bottom, we're ready to begin. Pressing the power button first, once it's illuminated, I'll press one cleaning per week so we could run one cleaning. The blinking only happens in my camera. And let's watch the habit of this robot to see what it does. Obviously, I'm going to be speeding things up. We're not going to watch this whole 2-hour process in real time. But it moves back and forth, and then sometimes it will stop and then climb up a wall. Though randomly, it's not going to always climb up a wall. It's just going to sometimes climb up a wall, and then it's going to scrub it. Now, admittedly, these walls aren't cleaned or pre-cleaned. I'm not expecting to pull all that off of the wall. And while the jet is pushing it sideways, it's not like it's going to wrap around the whole pool and scrub the perimeter. But it does this for a brief amount of time, at which point it stops and makes its way back under the water and continues cleaning the bottom of the pool. Whatever algorithm is designed into this, sometimes it'll stop mid-flight and then just move back and forth and rotate, back, forth, and rotate. And that's probably to change direction more than anything. So there's a random pattern that's formulated. And here we can see it climb up the wall right here at this curve. And it can't move in any direction, probably because it's on that curve. But we can see just a random event from something that's just pre-programmed into the robot. There's no intelligence here that allows it to clean the pool in any efficient manner. Eventually, it's just supposed to clean everything given enough time, though you can't program the amount of time per session. You see doing that back and forth thing, then it decides to do more of the back and forth thing, eventually make its way to the other side, up the wall, and then it cleans. But it does not clean that seat. It cannot clean the seat, apparently, or steps, or whatnot. If it does it simply by accident. At this point, it becomes more of the same old thing. And I guess with the randomness, if the tiles were already pre-cleaned, it would hit most of the tiles. And if you ran it 3 times a week, it would at least scrub all the tiles at least once a week. I guess that's the logic behind it. It's safe to say, though, that if you run this in a single session, it's not going to clean the entire bottom of the pool unless it's a really small pool. Though I'll point out the jet does rotate it slightly, which gets the cleaning of the tiles a little bit higher than it would be if it were running straight out of the pool. Well underway at this point, and the cable has not become tangled, so I'll say that the detangling mechanism is at least effective so long as the cable is pre-prepared before you begin. Watching it here at 160 times the speed, you could see the pattern in the cleaning. We have our inspector coming out. George takes a look. He's really infatuated with this robot vacuum cleaner. It's been difficult to keep him off camera. And everything was going pretty much as I expected it would until right here. I thought the robot had stopped completing its cycle, but it was too soon, and I noticed we hadn't even cleaned this area around the drain. But in fact, the robot didn't stop. It's still running. It was simply caught on the drain right here, and it's not even trying to get off. It's kind of moving back and forth and accomplishing nothing, and took several minutes, which I've sped up, to finally be able to make its way off the drain and continue. It doesn't know that it can't move. It's not smart enough. Eventually, coming off the drain, is able to continue. Now, this is apparently a known problem with this robot, which I later found out. But even when it continues, it simply ran out of time, because as it sat on the drain, not even realizing that it needed to negotiate its way off of it, it was running down the clock. So a short time after this, having come off the drain, it came to a stop, having completed its timer and not cleaned the entire pool. Let's have a look. Obviously, it could have cleaned more if it wasn't stuck on the drain. We could see missing pieces right here behind this drain. We can see that dirt still in the bottom of the pool where the robot hasn't even gone over. The step, as mentioned before, it just can't climb up that step to clean it. So that has to be done manually with a brush. Let's continue. Oh. And as I make my way to the front of the pool, obviously it did not clean the steps either. It did get a decent portion of the pool in a single run, though. Due to the flashing of the camera, I can't show you that the status of one has changed now that it's completed. Let's pull it out and see what it collected in that single run. There's no auto lift system on this robot, what you're supposed to do is gently pull it by the cable until you reach the water line. And I'm going to emphasize until the water line, because if you try and pull this robot out by the cable, you're definitely going to damage something, because right now it doesn't weigh nothing underwater. I just want to get close enough so I'm able to reach the handle and then lift it out of the water slowly by the handle so it could drain as I lift it out. Makes it lighter as it drains, obviously. But what I noticed is as it's draining, there's crap from this machine pouring back into the pool. I tried to show it on camera, but I wasn't expecting it, but we can see all those black flakes pouring back into the pool. So that's lovely. Pulling the handle, we'll open up the cover and have a look. We'll remove the filter basket from the unit. Put this off to the side. And you can see there's no seal up top, so there's like crap on the top of the plastic cover. A good place for dirt to leak out when you're pulling it from the pool. But we did collect a lot of stuff and sand, debris. Let's have a look. The mesh that's supplied does do a good job to grab sand, debris, even minute particles are captured as we see here. So no complaints there. For clean out, the bottom opens by releasing this clasp. Again, there's no seal here. It's just plastic on plastic. So I'll hit it with the hose using a spray pattern from the outside in to flush everything out of the basket. In this manner, it's not really too hard to clean this basket. However, while not necessary for every cleaning, as I remove these filter elements, these are also unsealed. They're plastic on plastic, so crap could get in between them. They don't make a perfect seal in the case. I'll take the other three out. Again, not necessary, but we do want to have a look and see what we're working with. With everything removed, we could see all the debris that got caught in between this basket and the filters because there's no seals. I'll spray it now just to clean everything up while I'm here. That should be good. I then clasp the bottom shut. Numbers annotate the order of assembly. For assembly, we'll be counting from high to low. This is kind of an ASVAB test right here. I'll figure it out. In my mind, I'm thinking this design is terrible. And that's our first panel snapped into place. Negotiate in the second one, which is number 3. 2 goes easier. And then 1, the easiest. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of this design, especially when you consider my other pool robot is a single piece filter and requires no disassembly or reassembly. If something gets stuck in the thrust portion of the unit, it can be serviced. It's not like a snap or anything that removes it. You do have to unscrew this shroud. Then this whole piece and handle and cable assembly lifts up and out of the way, such that you're able to work here on this manifold, which lifts up, exposing these pieces, and that can be cleaned out as necessary. Obviously, there's nothing obstructing here, but if there was, I would have access to that area. When finished, the manifold is placed right back on into position, followed by the cover, and then the screws. It was recommended to run the robot with the pump off in an attempt to see if it will go over the drain without getting stuck. So I put it back in the water to do just that. As it rolled over the drain for the first time, I thought it was getting stuck on the drain as it started to do its little dance, but immediately broke away, and I got excited, but then rolled back on and proceeded to get stuck for a couple of minutes. So shutting off the pump did not improve the situation by any means. It's just eventually at random, it somehow does something that dislodges it from the drain. As it made its way off the drain, I wasn't sure if it was going to ride right back on the drain for several minutes, but luckily it didn't happen this time. This is apparently such a problem that it was posted in their FAQ with several solutions. Having tried that first one, and the other one's not applicable, only the last one, where you have to buy a aftermarket cover that's friendly to the robot or added pieces, seems to be the only solution to avoid this problem. This includes aftermarket drain covers that are friendly to the robot, covers that Polaris would be happy to sell you to fix the problem with their robot, or these ugly clips you could purchase to get your toes stuck in and obstruct the robot so it won't get caught in the drain. What really pisses me off is in their promotional video, they actually shows a feature the drain cleaning ability of the robot, but going along the side of the drain and not down the middle because they know it's going to get stuck. Also, I'm not sure if this is an issue, but the only thing that stops the dirt from getting sucked out into the drain is this weighed metal bar that closes the flap, making sort of a one-way valve. But if it gets stuck over the drain, you could see how if that opened, it would just suck all the dirt out of the basket right into the drain. Another issue that I have is this clasp right here. We could see that the handle is just plastic bending in order to open it. Eventually, I could see how this would fatigue and break over time. And in that short run to test the drain, we could see that we pulled more debris into the basket, which means that a single cycle is not clearing the entire pool, as we've already determined. Back 1 month later, ran 3 times a week, no problems reported, and visually, yeah, it looks like things are looking good here. I inspected the filter as well. It didn't look too bad when I cleaned it. That's all subjective, of course, but I wanted to point that out. And the reason is the filter elements have since arrived, the upgraded ones, and they're in the unit now. I've asked that the robot not be cleaned for the last day or two so we could take a look at it. We're going to open it up now and see how they look. They were snapped into the existing basket, which I'll place on the table. It's just like the medium you use in the pool filter. I'll pull out one of these panels now so we can inspect. Taking out this larger one. And it's a little harder to remove, but we can see it captures a lot of dirt, has a greater surface area, and it looks dingy, obviously, because it's capturing finer dirt. But because it's plastic on plastic, we can see it captures crap on the sides. This will clean up just like a pool filter would. It's going to take a bit longer than the one that came with it because of the surface area and the recesses and whatnot. I clean out both sides and it brightens up as I do so. We'll have a look. Yeah, wasn't too much trouble to clean that up. Now we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the other large panel. And we can see, yeah, a major difference, obviously, the amount of dirt that it captures based on the clean one. So I'll wash all the others in the same manner. And they all cleaned up nice as well. I put everything back together in the correct order by the number system. And we're ready to go back in for another week. One final note I happened to notice on what was like the 30th run. I came outside and the tread is just laying there by the steps of the pool. The robot is about 10 feet away. It just came off the robot, and I was able to put it back on, but I thought that was really strange, and I can't understand how it came off, but we could see that it did, so I just wanted to point that out. It's light, it's cheap, it's easy to use, it's got a few quirks, and if you could get past them, then it may be an appropriate robot for your small pool. It's also the only one I know that comes with those high-density filters. If you're looking for tons of features and quality, this isn't it. If you're looking for cheap and easy, this is the one. And that concludes this video on the review of the Proteus DX4. I hope you found it enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below, helps me out a lot when you do, and hit that subscribe button to be informed of more videos like this when they come out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?